Alright, so I wanted to show and explain something about factory Floyd Roses, or like just companies that just put a Floyd Rose on any fucking guitar. Like one of the main problems with a factory or, I don't know, production Floyd Rose guitar is their stud anchors. So I already removed this one, but as you see, this is the one I just pulled out. Hold on. See how it's a hole straight through it? The anchors, the threads get all loose, and if this thing isn't perfectly hard and straight all the time, it's going to make the bridge not turn to the right spot. You got to pull it up or pull it down just to get it back in fucking tune. I figured that out like 20 fucking years ago when I took apart my first Ibanez. So I replace all my anchors immediately when I buy a guitar. I've been replacing a lot of stuff. Look at how shiny that is now. Look at them fucking frets. That's another secret. But this is pretty simple. So it used to be really hard. I used to have to get them from Godo or Schowler, and find, like, they used to be really expensive. But now there's a company that makes them. This is the size I'm going to put in here because I don't feel like drilling out the hole for the bigger ones. I prefer a bigger Godo 1996 anchor system, which is like what's on Gems and high-end Ibanez's from like 98 down, which is pretty much all I buy anyways. So, but this one is meant for the regular Floyd Rose anchor seat. So see how the bottom, see it's closed? There's actually a set screw inside this that pushes down as well as pushes up, so this anchor never ever gets fucking loose or moves or anything like that. But to replace these, I mean, I'm banging that in with a hammer in a minute. I'm going to show you how I get this out. It's really simple. There's like tools out there, they're like $100. You've got to it's like a plunger bolt system and shit. That's fucking retarded. What I use is two of these little screws. It's a flathead. I mean, I got a bunch of them. These were for some other, I don't know where I pulled these out of. I just keep them around in a box. But I literally just, flathead down, drop it straight in. Make sure that part is still sticking up, obviously. And I just take the anchor. I mean, these aren't even the ones that came with this guitar. These are German Floyd Rose ones. I just wanted to test it out before I took it all apart, so I set it up real quick. But yeah, you're gonna need two though. But yeah, you just get it on there. Now it's tight. Now don't go too crazy. Don't go fast, because you never know if it's going to push out. I've had them push out before. Hell, my fucking J Custom, Abigail, that's what happened to her. I've replaced the anchors multiple times, had to add wood and stuff. Now her body's so bad that the neck joint is completely done. So, I mean, the neck's fine, but the body is shit. And this is a basswood body too, but you notice there's like a decent amount of material right there, so it's not going to push through, hopefully. But you just go little slow turns, and if you see, it's already rising up. Now, a lot of them also now have this bar. It's like literally a block, and that's there so that shit doesn't break. But if you just had proper anchors, you'll never have this shit break. I mean, I've thrown guitars, I've fucking lit them on fire, I've done all sorts of shit. And the only guitar that ever had anchor problems was Abigail, because I pushed through it the first time. See how it's pulling up? Just go nice and slow. So this is going to bottom out before it gets all the way out. And you don't want to like wiggle anything, because that hole is the seat. And I mean, some people recommend, a lot of guys recommend to like put a little glue in there and stuff. I don't put glue, because these are a 0.5 millimeter wider, and their frayed fins out here are a little bit bigger, so it actually grabs the wood perfect. Just like use a rubber mallet or a dead blow. Come on, focus. All right. Yeah. So, and if you notice that white stuff, that's Teflon tape. So I'll put Teflon tape on any threading, regardless, just to make it that much tighter. It's overkill, but I've been doing it forever, and it works, and you can hide it. And another trick I do is I lubricate these when I put the Floyd in. I lubricate both anchors and around the Floyd, around the blade edge. Like, see this, I rebuilt this one. This is what I'm putting in it right now. I literally have like back stock of the stainless steel parts and shit. And those are these string anchors in there, those blocks. Those are actually German Floyd Rose anchors I got off one of them. I have one on the shelf. It's a gold one. I just don't feel like setting the radius, and the radius on this one's set. So I'm gonna string this one up, and then when my new electronics come in for this in like a couple days, then I'll switch it out to the gold one. But yeah, I lubricate these, and also the edges get fucked up. So I mean, I file them and stuff. These are not bad. This with the anchor setup, it's gonna flutter fine. It's gonna dive. It's gonna go back to perfect tune. But so now it's bottomed out. So all you do is pull the fucker out again. And I'm using these anchors too, these German anchors, because they are slightly longer and they have that little nub, so it just adds a little extra length. And the threads are stronger. I just don't want it twisting or anything like that in that seat. So then I just put another one of those screws I have. A flat head. Flat, like it's not a wood screw. Wood screws, like, trust me, you want a bolt that's flat because, again, you're pushing on that. That's pushing this way and it's pulling it out. It's pretty much the same system of what the locking anchors does, just without the seat, and I'm using that concept to pull these out without having to buy stupid machinery or, pulling on the body and all this. Like, this is so fucking easy. You don't damage nothing. So yeah, it's in there now. I mean, and sometimes you can get lucky from just the one bolt and you can kind of pull it out, but again, I don't want to damage the whole pocket of where I'm going to put the new anchor. See, it's already tight. I got that much extra threading. Literally a couple turns and this thing's coming right out.
Yeah, just and such an old favorite for me. Like I say, everything from the soundtrack on down. I remember watching that. I won't watch it anytime. I remember having you over at some point when we were watching.
I thought these were DiMarzio breeds when I bought this guitar. They're actually super distortions. They're still DiMarzios, but it sucks. So I'm going to keep that in the neck, but I have my LX, Bill Lawrence LX 500 pickup, bridge pickup. I'm going to put it in here today, because this is going in D standard. And ta-da! Done. Fucking out. That easy. No damage. Now another good tip though on this is that around that anchor seat on a lot of guitars, the paint goes over the actual stud. So you need to get like a razor knife and cut it around, because if you don't cut that paint, a lot of times the paint is part of the structural integrity of the guitars, especially if it's made of basswood and stuff. And like Ibanez, they rely on their paint because their wood is really fucking soft. So if you're doing this to an Ibanez, you get a razor knife, you fucking make sure you cut around all this. I mean, I didn't want to pull this foam off because I didn't feel like getting my glue spray and refoaming it, because I try to keep these on, but honestly, almost every guitar I own, I rip all that foam off. And I'll even take this foam off and then just repaint it. But I'm trying to keep this thing like this, I'm trying to do my best. But yeah, and obviously you just flip it over and you get those screws out. But that's how easy it is. And then I got the new anchor system. Oh, stainless steel with a brass fucking insert, so it's not this shitty pot metal. So again, more resonation, more metal, fucking much more metal, better metal, higher density, wider pivoting point, because that's what the bridge actually runs off. And I've even gone as far as like getting files and refiling anchors, and I mean I've tried it all, man. But when it comes down to it, it's just easy to replace these with better ones. Now this one is, I think, like 2.5 millimeters longer than the original. I think so. I know it's a little bit longer. It's like 2 millimeters longer. Yeah, but it sits lower. And you don't, and when you, if this thing was sitting all the way down, even with that extra 2 millimeters, it'd be too low to actually function anyway. So you're not losing any height. You're not adding too much height. It's not like you can never get it super low. It will go lower than you need it to be. You know, like the larger 1996 Gotos, which I put those in all my Ibanez's and stuff like that. Those are, I mean, their diameter is a little bit bigger, so I'd have to get my drill press out and do some holes in here, but I'm trying not to do that. I already had to replace this because the paint thinner fucking melted this. So this came off another Jackson I have in the back, like just like Jackson parts. I just have like a box of just random Jackson shit. But I had to reset these screws because they were an extra millimeter longer, and this shit happens a lot too. They mix like European with American, and like F-space pickup mounts are mixed in with other shit just from the factory. They don't give a shit. It sucks. So you gotta go through it. But yeah, I bought this used, and the guy who owned it last, he did try to stain the board, which I cleaned and restained, but the guy didn't know what he was doing. He just like looked up on a tutorial because he stained the fucking binding. And another reason, and again, that's why I hate binded guitars. I can't stand binding it. I think it looks ugly. I think it looks cheap, tacky. But he didn't really sand it. He just put a bunch of fucking paint thinner on here and started eating everything. And now the fucking binding stains. So I'm going to go with the file or some really fine sandpaper at the end of this. And I'm going to get that fucking shit off because it looks terrible to me. That's a German R3. German-made Floyd Rose R3. And these are Gotos. They're non-staggered, so they're all the same height, and they're locking. They're mini lockers. And another thing Jackson does, which is fucking stupid, is they have this tilt access neck, so they think in their mind they don't need to put a string tree. But if I strung this up right now, you notice that the strings wouldn't be perfectly set on that part. So every time you tighten this down, so you tune it. This is loose, you tighten it down, this pushing down, it's going to move the string down like a fucking millimeter, and then it always makes the guitar fucking sharp. So, I'm going to drill 2 holes and put a string tree in here. I think it's right, yeah. I mean, I got a bunch, I got a bunch of shit. I just keep it stocked up. I buy a lot of crap. Just so I can pull a guitar apart and build it, or build one from scratch, and just have it perfect. And then I might sell it, or I might give it to someone, but I don't know. This one is for nobody but me for a while. But yeah, I don't know. I can even show you guys how to truly intonate these things, because like there's multiple ways you can lock the bridge, like put a block in the back of the spring. But I use 2 different tools that I hybrided together, so I can do this while it's floating, you know. And the radius, that's a whole different story. Radius, and again, they don't match the radius for the Floyd to the neck. No one ever does. Half the time, the nut isn't even the right radius for the neck. They just throw random parts on there, and it's fucking terrible. No one knows about, like, Floyd Roses are so easy once you understand the science of them. But companies don't even attempt to put the right ones in there unless you're spending $3,000. And even that, it's an Ibanez bridge, and it's designed just for like their radius, their 20 radiuses, because they don't even use the 17s anymore. Like her, she's a 1998 prototype mahogany with a real Super Wizard neck, you know, the wedge. They only made it 1 year with the original 17 radius, and I scalped it, put Dunlop 6000 stainless steel extra jumbos on it. But this is a Cowler bridge. So it is 17 radius, but it's compensated in the back, so that's why I don't have a string tree on here anymore. Because before, I used to have to, just like on that one, have a string tree to push these down below that pivot point, so when I lock these, it doesn't push it sharp or flat. But that's why I put these in there, but it takes forever for them to get shipped. I ordered one for that. I'm still waiting for another one. I mean, it takes like 2 months for the fucking warehouse to give me shit from them. They're like located in Vegas, but I don't know. They're fucked up. But yeah, I don't know. I'll put the Bill Lawrence in here. I got a mini kill switch I'm gonna put in there. A little bit of wiring. I'm out of those specific circuits I use for my treble bleed, and I really like them. I don't like any other ones. I've tried so many, so I'm just gonna wait for the treble bleed. And like, this is a Mad Hatter pot too, which is weird. Like, I mean, the guy wired it right, but he wired this pickup upside down, which pisses me off. I'm a perfectionist, so and now he cut the length so long, I have to extend the length. So I'm just gonna put the Bill Lawrence in here because it's a hotter pickup anyways, and this thing's going D-standard. So, but that's a good neck pickup. It's all right. Super distortion, the neck's good. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do something else about Floyd Roses or do something better with a mounted camera. But that's easy right there to get out. Easy peasy if you just know what you're doing.